or presents Rapacity in Blue.
This is Gary Butterfield.
This is Cole Ross.
And welcome back.
Have some God gas. Let's get biblical up in here.
We're in the swing of it. Season 6, we're talking about Rapacity in Blue.
Yeah.
As mentioned by the lovely and talented Brayton.
Yeah.
This episode written by Doc Hammer, originally aired February 21st, 2016.
Yep. And it is the first episode where we really get into the Blue Morpho and Kano stuff. Monarch and 21 finally have something to do. And wow, this is a fun episode.
It's real fun. Yeah, this is a great episode. Has the good Warriana shit.
Mm-hmm.
Real fun episode.
Yeah.
Kind of the beginning of their rotating cast of supervillains for season 6, as the Monarch and 21 work their way up the ladder.
Yeah.
They're kind of knocking off the villains that are above them on the list.
Yeah.
And it took them a while to get there, even though this was something that they originally were doing in the first season.
Right.
This is how you got Baron Underbite.
Mm-hmm.
Was their first attempt at this stuff.
Yeah.
They're like, we're doing this. We don't want it to be comic booky. We want it to be Johnny Questy, but we did keep making new characters. And eventually they'd be like, well, we already have the Monarch.
Yeah.
Like, could the Monarch do this?
Yeah. And yeah, the Monarch kind of could.
Yeah.
And you know, we get the Monarch here kind of getting a new purpose because he did kind of, you know, fall off there in the middle seasons, you know, just a little bit aimless after he was unable to be an official arch, right?
Yes. Yeah. I'm glad they're picking up those threads.
Yes.
Feels good to have the Monarch have something to do.
Very much so, because it's a fun character, and you know, I'm still like I am enjoying the way that 21 and the Monarch are playing off of each other in this.
Yeah. The worst part of this arc to me is that we end up with a kind of frustrating, like, the Guild and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch not knowing. We end up with like some Three's Company style shit.
Yeah.
You know, during this, and that is, I think, a currency that you have to spend carefully.
Very much so.
If you push that too far. And I think that this arc of the show does maybe lean on that a little bit too much, in a way that feels like a product of two separate writers.
Yes.
Like they're both borrowing from the same account, but they are not checking the account balance first.
Right. That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. On that idea. But other than that, it's tons of fun.
Yeah.
We get very little information, behind the scenes information in the book or the commentary. We learned that Doc Hammer purposely sabotaged his therapy.
Yep.
Not a great thing to do.
Nope.
I had an ex who did that, who was like, I hate my therapist. I don't think she's right about anything. I was like, you should get a new therapist. And she was like, no.
Yeah.
And then we broke up. But it was like, don't purposely sabotage your health care if you can help it.
Yeah. It's kind of a waste of money and time. Yeah.
Yeah. But we don't learn a lot about the ins and outs.
No.
This.
Just that they think it is a very pretty episode. And it is.
Yeah, looks good. Begins with Rusty's alarm, waking him up nice and early. It's a hologram of JJ. JJ programmed a year of these, of JJ waking up, telling him to tell Sally she's special and tell him what he has to do. The big thing is they have 3 days for the science conference to make sure something called OS Sparkle Dream is ready. Yeah. JJ has a stand-in for Apple.
Yeah. You know, and Rusty is like, oh my gosh, I can't believe, like, I need to figure out how to turn this off. A little bit ghoulish to be woken up by a ghost of your dead brother every morning.
They live in the ghost of their dead brother.
They do.
Like, I kept thinking they were going to do more with that. Like in the first episode where Dean thinks it's too soon, that the instructions on the JPad.
Yeah.
Or the
Siri
J-phone,
voice. Yeah. So that's the entirety of the cold open. We go down to the lab. It is no longer just an anonymous basement. Like they've done it up in VenTech colors. They got racing stripes all over the place. This is what they wanted the Astrolab to look like. Remember, the Astrolab is a tiny dank concrete place that smells like cigarettes. So it's very funny that they're like, yeah, we could do like racing stripes and numbered stations. And it's like, guys, come on.
Yeah. And saying they would do that and then not doing it is very relatable.
Oh, yes.
To me.
Yeah.
Rusty goes down to the R&D lab to see what they're working on. Billy has the Segway that he's working on there. And Rusty's like, okay, well, paint it Venture Blue and militarize it. Because that's what Rusty does, sell things to the military.
Uh-huh. We can call it the zipper rounder.
The zipper rounder. He's bragging about being invited to the Science Now conference, and Pete's like, weren't you banned from that show by showing up with a vacuum cleaner that leaks radiation and sucked that radiation back up?
Yep, it was the boom broom from
the boom broom. It's from the pilot.
Yeah.
United Nations.
No, the pilot was a disintegration ray.
Okay.
So he took it, and obviously it was a weapon. It's from Tears of a Sea Cow, is what the boom broom was from. Boom broom was from.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Little callback.
Yeah. But he presses them like, no, we have to make a big splash at the show regardless, and gives them a little pep talk. He says, reach up my ass and amaze my heart.
Yeah. Wow me.
Yes.
Back over the Monarchs, Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch is in the shower talking to her husband, like, hey, like, if you stop harassing Venture, I can get you bumped up to an 8 as soon as tonight.
Yes.
One of the things that giving the Monarch something to do is he becomes a real shitty husband.
He does. Yeah.
He's not a good husband at any point really during this. Like Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch is an excellent partner.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
He can't hear because he's down in the Morpho cave.
Right.
With 21, and 21's trying to convince him to take the mantle.
Yeah.
At this point, but he says, no, you should be painting this place, getting rid of all this stuff and painting it to make it the egg sack.
It's the worst name ever for a lair. Yeah. But he just did it. The thing is, he doesn't want to be a good guy. The notion disgusts him. It's barely tolerable that his dad was a good guy. Right.
Yeah. Yeah. 21 says, your dad wasn't really a good guy. He was, a vigilante. And we could take out all those guys. Like, look in the comics. And Monarch says, the same comics where he never mentioned he had a kid, which is a real non sequitur. And every issue ended with his dad giving a fruit pie to troubled teens. Do you know about that? You're not a comics kid. Do you know about that?
I just the in universe or in character ads that were like after the actual ending. Like, okay,
yes.
it's a full page ad that looks like more of the comic. But it's like a little like
Superman giving away fruit pies, Hostess fruit pies.
Was it fruit pies? Was it specifically that? Okay, no,
yes,
I don't.
You know what I'm talking about? Those, like, they're kind of like a sugar calzone.
Yes, yeah. It's full of purple gel that tastes like purple. Yeah.
Yes. As a kid, I fucking loved those.
Oh yeah.
When I was an adult and could just buy my own food and stuff, that was one of my first like sticker shock things of realizing something that I enjoyed was really bad for me.
Oh yeah.
And I stopped getting them. I never really bought them for myself because I learned to look at the back of something and see a nutritional information and be like, oh, this says like twice as many calories as a Whopper. Like, what the fuck?
Yep. Like, yeah. And I was like, there's so much like better tasting and better stuff I could be spending those calories on. This doesn't make any sense. Yeah.
As a kid reading Firestorm comics, the first comics I got into before I got X-Men pilled, just like getting to the end of the comic and watching Firestorm just give away a bunch of fruit pies was really incredible.
Man, specifically fruit pies. Huh.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fruit pies. They also make a chocolate one that is just filled with pudding.
That sounds vile.
I was pretty fond of it as a kid, but again,
I mean, so it is all bad, but also like nostalgic. How many episodes have we talked about Little Debbie's,
Yeah. Which are also not good and not good for you.
Yeah. But somehow we give them to children.
Yeah.
Very funny.
It's horrible.
Yeah.
Manola warns them that Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch is going to come downstairs. So they rush up the office and she notices them flustered and they start practicing doing the tango.
Yeah.
And doing, again, that real Three's Company shit.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we're just doing the tango. I was just rehearsing for a play.
Yeah,
that kind of shit.
Yeah.
I get annoyed at that. I don't like that trope very much.
No. 21 tries to explain it, saying, a good henchman and villain relationship is a dance of death. Yeah.
Dr. and Mrs. the Monarch isn't an idiot, even though she's portrayed as one this season. Yeah. She's off to Meteor Major. And Monarch's real mad. She gets in the car with Phantom Limb, who politely waves. Yeah. And she hates, oh, you dick, I hate you, through her gritted teeth.
Yeah. Cut over to like what could barely be called a plot. Like, this is just we got to get the boys in here somehow.
Yeah.
So Hank has met up with Serena, right? But he is not confident. He has no idea what to do. You're talking to Dean saying, oh, now you may see me as a lady killer, Dean, the guy who knows his way around smooching and also touching the bathing suit areas of a woman.
Dean's like, I don't think that.
But Hank just continues.
Yeah. It's a ruse. He's actually inexperienced.
Yeah.
He's asking Dean, and he's like, why are you asking me? Ask Dad. He's like, I tried that, and all I learned is that my dad carries around pamphlets about the dangers of chlamydia in his wallet. I love Rusty's weird idea that his kids are just going to fall in with loose women and get diseases.
Yeah. I mean, that is a recurring thing. Like, that was part of the Halloween scare, right?
Yeah.
Like, Dean had to, Dad, it burns when I pee.
He's very terrified of that.
Yep.
You know,
it's like, hey, penicillin exists, dude.
We cut back over, at this point, to them doing Pete and Billy giving presentations to Rusty.
Yes.
To try to wow him for the science conference.
Yeah.
At this point,
Rusty shoots down the idea for the silent washing machine. They don't want to do appliances. The boom broom backfired on them.
A silent washing machine would be amazing.
Oh yeah. God, my washing machine's in my fucking kitchen.
It's incredible. Like when I used to live in a house with a washing machine, it kind of puts a world tendency on the house.
It does. Yeah.
Like, it's not, it's you're in wash world tendency. It's not great.
No, it's not. Especially when it's probably 20 feet from where you record a podcast.
Yeah. No good.
Yeah. So the next invention is shuffle dynamism. So it's like, okay,
I love this.
This is it's a green solution. It's special boots, special magnetic boots, and a special floor that generate electricity as people walk around. The problem is, the overhead. It barely generates enough electricity to run a pencil sharpener, and technically it's slave labor. To which Rusty responds, "Oh, we can get around that."
Yeah, Rusty's a businessman.
Yep,
he knows how to massage it. Pete very sweetly tags in Billy.
Mm-hmm.
At this point, I love he gives him the high five. Billy comes up. I also just love seeing Billy get a high five.
Yeah.
Billy's come up with a drug called the Prometheus drug that regenerates a liver. Of course, because Prometheus having his liver eaten there, and Doc is excited. Like, oh, that's great.
Yeah.
He's like, well, you don't understand. It just keeps growing livers. People just go, blow up from having too many livers.
Yeah.
It just creates a liver and just keeps going.
Yep. Yeah. And
the real con is I'm getting sick of blowing up mice. For a scientist to get sick of killing mice.
I know. That's oof. I mean,
they hate them shits.
They take joy in it. They poison them. They measure the tumors and they put up a high score. Yeah,
they have to cut off their heads. Will used to do it when he was training to be a scientist, and there's like a little guillotine.
Yeah.
That's like their little. It's very sad.
My mom will sometimes, because I was very, I was good at high school. Let's say, good at science and math and stuff, and just like, oh, so much about like medical stuff. You you should have been a doctor. This like especially like back when I was in college, and she didn't really approve of the courses that I was taking. And it's like, do you know what you have to do? Like, do you know how much you have to, like, no, I don't want to cut a mouse's head off, Mom.
Just you should be a doctor is such a weird thing.
Yeah.
Because it's like you get paid well, but doctors aren't happy or anything.
No.
It's just jam packing, 3-minute appointments, as many of them as you can possibly get in one day.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm very happy that I got out of my education without dissecting anything.
I
was watching the Lisa the Vegetarian episode where she had to cut up the worm.
Oh yeah.
And it was just making me very sad. I'm like, man, I don't want to dissect something.
No, I dissected shitloads of stuff. Oh yeah.
No way, dude.
Yeah.
No way. I'm not down for that.
Cutting into a beef heart, dissected a crow, goat's eyes, stuff like that. Fetal pig. Oh man.
No thanks.
A whole bunch of fetal pig. Yeah.
Computers fix that. No longer do kids need to do the barbarism of like literally tearing apart living flesh.
I have no idea.
Just look at a video.
Yep.
Do a VR. Go into the Oculus, corridor for it.
Yeah.
It's a big advantage to never taking biology. Also, biology was very boring.
Well,
as a class.
Yeah.
Like the actual whys of stuff and the hows are good in a kids explain science way, but not in a useful to everyday knowledge way.
It's a lot of learning about ATP. You know, it's just a bunch of stuff like that. I was more of a chemistry and physics man myself.
This stuff is certainly more interesting. I think. Even then, though, I still want the kids science version.
Well,
I want the teacher to like, you know, do a cool explosion and tell me how it works.
All that I want is for the teacher to just burn different elements and just like, what color do you think this is going to be?
And there's only a couple of different options, but whatever it is, I'm gonna be surprised.
I'm gonna clap. I'm gonna laugh. I'll clap like a seal. You know, it's like yay. Yeah. But no, I just a part of me would die every time I had to cut a head off of a mouse. It's
horrible. Like I'll eat animals, but that's been on the bubble for years. Like, I just love an animal, you know? They keep making livers. It's great. This is all they have until Billy's like, you know, I guess we do have the God gas. And Rusty gets excited, like, oh, God gas. He's like, yeah, it's this gas that induces religious visions. You know, it kind of stimulates the cerebral cortex. And Doc starts leading him on. He's like, you know, this is Billy. And Billy's like, no, you know, it's not that. He's like, come on, you know. And Pete calls him out. I was like, what are you guys talking about? And they both say at the same time, Billy really deflated and Rusty really triumphant.
Mind control gas.
The really cute moment. And Pete's like, you guys are so cool sometimes. Like, it's really sweet little Pete and Billy episode.
Yeah.
In this one.
Even though Billy does nothing wrong. Billy is just let down by the people around him, by Rusty's leadership and by Pete's just shoddiness all around.
So this is going to be our B plot. Yeah. The Monarch is getting ready to paint the egg sac, but 21 is standing outside the door dressed up as a Jedi. No. They do the literal... the only thing in there is what you take with you. They just do the joke again.
Yeah.
That Killinger did. But I love, he says, you don't need to go down there. And 21 says there's much anger in him. And here, was I any different when you taught me? I love just 24's voice coming in as a cameo.
Oh, I forgot that happened. It was just smiling from ear to ear. Oh, okay, buddy.
Good to see him.
Yeah. So what 21 wanted the Monarch to see was on the crime computer. There's a video recording. This is apparently a big reference to a documentary movie called Autofocus.
That is not a documentary movie, my friend.
That is not a documentary? I've never seen Autofocus. What is that?
Oh, dude. It's a fictionalized account. Gotta see Autofocus.
Okay.
I can't remember the name of the guy. It was like a game show host, I want to say. Played by Greg Kinnear in the movie.
It was the guy from Hogan's Heroes is what it was. Yeah. Apparently
raging sex addict.
Yeah, and he would record his exploits. He was a real he was a real Dennis, you know. Yeah.
There's take that the level.
From It's Always Sunny. Yeah.
It's funny. There's a scene in that movie that'll stick in my head forever. He's friends with Willem Dafoe as his swinging partner.
Okay.
Which like real, challenge mode right there. But there's a part where they're reviewing the tapes and it's really a great scene. Like he's really into it. Like he's like, just like watching himself intently. And Willem Dafoe's there thinking it's gonna be a good time. And he spots on the camera, Willem Dafoe grab his ass.
Okay.
He's like, hey man, did you just grab my ass? And Willem Dafoe's like, yeah, man, it's group grope. And then enters the idea of group grope to my head.
Oh gosh.
And Greg Kinnear is furious because he doesn't go in for group grope.
Wow. Just the arbitrary way that you draw that line, huh?
Yeah. I will have sex in the same bed with this man, with the same women. But if he touches my butt, no group grope.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, it is a fictionalized account. I think it's based on like a tell-all book.
Gotcha.
If I recall.
Okay.
I'm probably getting a lot of things wrong, but I know it's not a documentary.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, just a movie about that that real man. Yeah. But this is, it is a video recording. Don Fitzgeraldo, the Blue Morpho, he has turned on this camera and he's demonstrating this remote video recorder to Jonas. Dr. Venture Senior is there, saying like, oh yeah, it'll record, it's like 7 inches of tape per second in a package so small that it can fit in your car's trunk, which is fucking ridiculous. Yeah.
You're going to put me out of business. Oh no, super science is your game. I'm unhinged, a vigilante, a bad guy.
Yeah.
And he says it into the camera, putting on the mask as a joke. This is supposed to be the thing that convinces the Monarch.
Yeah.
He can be a bad guy. I don't necessarily think that follows very well.
No.
Again, the Monarch's not an idiot either.
Right.
So he's like, what's on the rest of that tape? 21's like, you don't want to keep watching that. And they do. I love this so much. Jonas brings in the ladies. It's like, we got some super villains. And Fall Town's like, looks like they've got a growth ray.
And they pull their pants down.
Pants.
Yeah.
It's so good.
And the Monarch's reaction, that's not mommy.
It's very good.
And I love in the art book, they describe something that is absolutely the case. And it's like, okay, one level of horror is, okay, you're watching your dad have an affair. Like that's, something of a betrayal. It's not something you want to see. But then there's also the lingering, is my mom going to show up? And like, is she going to be a part of this?
Yeah. I think that I could stop watching. I could.
Oh yeah.
Like the idea is, you say it, but you'd actually be compelled. I would not be compelled.
No. You just know, It's a mind that expands to a new idea, i.e. exactly how your dad fucks real good, will never return to its original shape.
Yeah. Or real bad.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
What if he's just garbage at it?
Jonas would not hang or involve somebody who could not fuck real good in his in his double team game, especially with Jill St. John and Stella Stevens.
You would think that, but I also think that they're probably attracted a little bit by the wealth and Playboy lifestyle.
Oh, true, maybe.
21 says, I'm pretty sure that's Jill St. John and Stella Stevens. I had to look them up. They're old-timey actresses.
Oh, yeah. Beautiful women. Yeah.
Pete and Billy, they're testing the God gas on some mice. Dean's hanging out. And they can't tell if it's working because they don't know whether a mouse is having religious visions. Mm-hmm. Dean's like, that one's lonely.
Should you write that down?
That may cause loneliness in mice. That one there wants to be alone. That's really good.
Yeah.
Don't you have class? Not until 9:30. Hank, I'm getting away from Hank basically.
Yeah.
Hank's asking for advice on how to score.
Yeah. I love this interaction. Do you know anything about that? If I did, would I be down here? We're not to fun Dean yet, no. Or we're just away from fun Dean, but I do like sarcastic Dean.
Yeah. Upstairs, Hank is talking to Brock about this, which he should have been doing the entire time.
Yeah.
Asking for advice on kissing. I love this. Like, should my eyes closed or open? It's like, her eyes closed, your eyes open. It's moving slow like a cobra. It's a move. And we do he does this close up and you see from Hank's point of view, like Brock coming in to kiss. It's real good. Yeah. It's very funny.
In the art book, Jackson's like, oh, we should really take that out of context and put it in a promo. Brock's going to get in a relationship with Hank.
What a twist. Hatred radios Brock and interrupts them with the code green. And Brock's like, who's the hostage? Me. Because there's somebody in the lobby. He's going to head down. Cut to the lab where Pete and Billy are in the background. And we keep cutting to the progress of these mice. This is just a cute little background joke. I really like this, though. I think it's very adorable.
Yeah. The mice are religified. One of them is Moses speaking in front of instead of the golden calf, it's a graven idol of Billy.
I love it. It's so cute. The way this progresses is very funny. Yep. It reminds me a little bit of What Color Is Your Clean Suit stuff.
Oh yeah. It fast forwards through history. It's great.
The Monarch is sitting on the front porch talking to Manolo. And I love this. He's like, what should I do, Manolo? And Manolo's like, I'm not Mr. Feeney. I don't care about this stuff. You should just do whatever you want. It's like, Manolo's so wise. I'll just do whatever I want. I'm not Mr. Feeney. Like, I don't care about this stuff.
Should we explain who Mr. Feeney is to people who are
knows who Mr. Feeney is?
Yeah,
he's the wise guy from Wise. He's the Mr. Wilson, basically, of Boy Meets World.
Yes, yeah. It just he was there to dispense wisdom and help the main characters solve their problem. Solve their problem for the episode. Yes.
Yeah. It was like Mr. Wilson, except the bottom half of his face still existed.
Mr. Wilson was Dennis the Menace. The neighbor was just Wilson. We never learned his last
just
name.
Wilson.
Yeah.
Well, I am respectful.
Okay.
So, so there.
Yeah.
I don't know that man.
Dr. Mrs. the Monarch calls, interrupts this kind of reverie here, saying, "Hey, did you file this form? Because if you haven't yet, you need to file the extension version of it. Has to be the, form 269A instead of the form 296B. And this is the final straw, just being nagged about paperwork. So it's a bad deal. He's going to go on his own."
Yeah. He goes downstairs. He tells 21, he's like, 21 is painting it as the egg sack. He's like, no, we're going with your idea. He's like, what, you mean pile all this crap up and climb it like the aggro crag? No, Kate, I know it's time to suit up.
Yeah.
And we get this intro. This is a very Super Friends heavy season.
Yeah.
This is phenomenal.
I love this.
I love this. Yeah, it's really good.
It's the announcers, talking about like, yes, inheriting his birthright as the Blue Morpho, blah, blah, blah. And they kind of reach the end of it as they're suiting up. And they realize their outfits don't fit them at all. The Monarch's outfit is too small, or is too big, and 21's outfit is too small. So they go into another intro, basically the same thing. Using the skills taught to him by his high school home economics teacher, Mrs. Alphen, Kano makes key alterations to their costumes.
They have the word home economics pops up in the Super Friend font.
Yep.
It's real cute. There's a minor nitpick thing here where he drops out of high school.
Yes.
They address it during the commentary and stuff. And they're just like, well, he could have done it at night school or something.
Yeah.
Just very cute.
Mm-hmm.
They take off.
Yeah.
We go the hatred subplot. We check that out where he's being held hostage by Orangutan, who is kind of a Craven the Hunter kind of character.
Yeah. So he's like a really, really like hairy, like half beast Australian guy. This is Orpheus's voice actor.
Yeah, Rattazzi.
Rattazzi. Yeah. But he's there, I'm here to bring Venture pain.
Yeah. It's nice to get Stephen Rattazzi in there.
Yeah.
Brock comes out and draws his gun, and Orangutan draws on Hatred, saying, "You're pathetic, strike me." Hatred punches Orangutan, one of his teeth fall out, and he picks up Hatred by the collar and headbutts him rapidly. Knocks him on the ground.
There's so much good rhythm of head injuries in this episode.
It's real good with the knocking on the door later.
Yeah.
And then Orangutan tells Brock to strike him, and they just start doing this posturing like, you hit me, well, you hit me first.
Yeah.
Just take your shot, big boy. Are you afraid? Oh, I'm not afraid, but are you?
Yeah, and Wariana looks down and is just over it. Like, this is nonsense. I can't have this happening down here. So she rides her invisible chariot down and knocks out Orangutan with a sucker punch, to the back of the head, right? And Brock says, "Oh, this is a dirty pool. Yeah, that was my kill, right?" Just it's against the rules, And Wariana, again, very good. I heed not your bro code.
I love Wariana so much. So back in the lab, we just cut over to the lab, showing them advancing. Mm-hmm. Like they've now moved on to New Testament style mice.
Yep.
Here, and Brock is very upset about this. They do a little bit of that posturing as well.
Yeah.
Brock and Wariana, until Brock goes up into his room. And he's just like staring silently on the bed. Hank comes on. He's like, "What if she's wearing a sports bra? Like, what do I do then? There's no hooks." Yeah. And Brock is black pilled. And he's like, "You know what you want to do? You just stand there like a jackass. You let Hatred get hospitalized."
It's very specific.
He's very upset and self-critical.
Yeah.
They didn't fight Wariana. He didn't know what to do.
Yeah, he's in a horny frenzy. He's like, I've got no way of telling her that her muscles and attitude are a turn on. He said he's at a loss for what to do, and Brock has never been at a loss for what to do with a woman, right?
Yeah.
and Hank, it's not processing any of this. It's a real psychodrama. It's like, okay, I get it. Only lady bodybuilders wear sports bras. Got it.
The another thing that is a minor nitpick of the season to me is that the New York inside baseball stuff aren't jokes. Like, they're driving there and they're making jokes about like which tunnels to take and which bridges to take. And as somebody who does not care about New York,
yes,
I could not care less.
Yeah. All that you care about New York City for is whether or not freaks can find company there. And the answer is yes.
My understanding is that they can. And if I were looking for all the weirdos in the world, like, that's where I might find them.
Yeah.
it doesn't, we don't spend tons of time on it, but it just feels like wasted time.
Yeah.
Like, take this bridge. No, take that tunnel. Like, maybe if you live in New York, that's very funny.
Yeah.
But I do not get the joke of it.
No, it's like, don't take the Tri-County. That'll put you in Staten Island. Yeah.
This whole section I would have cut.
Yeah.
The important thing that happens here is 21 says your beard's very distinctive. You need to cut it. He's been growing it out for 20 years. But yeah, they've gotten too trendy. I'll donate it to Locks of Love. That's cute. 'Cause nobody wants your greasy facial hair. You're like curly puby facial hair for Locks of Love.
Yeah.
But it's just a whole scene that does not accomplish very much.
Yeah. The important thing is he cuts it down to a shorter goatee. Looks very much like Rusty's goatee.
Yeah. Which is semi-important later in one way and then not followed up on in another way.
Mm-hmm.
It's a really weird kind of thing.
Yes. Yeah. So having done the mouse crucifixion, the mice are now converging on their tyrannical king. They're wielding torches. The king's nest. He's on a throne of mouse skulls, and he's surrounded by little mouse heads on little mouse pikes.
Mm-hmm. It's real cute. Yeah. The Venture Brothers official, like the wiki of this, that sucks, has like a bunch of things where it references and just says the Bible. It's very funny. And then this one they said Skeletor because of the Throne of Skulls. And I'm like, you can have a Throne of Skulls.
Yeah. A Throne
Skeletor, you idiots.
Yeah, it doesn't have to be Skeletor. No.
It's like the second most common use for skulls.
I mean, aside from goblets. Yeah.
Well, I would say goblet. I mean, they have a hole in the bottom.
Well, you just fill that up with some wax. Come on.
Yeah. Cut to Elton Brown. If it were me, I would take the flour and make a little kind of paste that would cover up the hole in the skull.
Yeah.
Man, why didn't they made anybody cook in a human skull yet? You have to do all your mixing and cooking in this human skull, Bob, and then just pull out the fatality of Bob.
Oh gosh, yeah. No, you got you don't just have to deal with the foramen magnum. You got to deal with the with the eye sockets too. That's a whole big deal. Yeah.
Skull's not very seaworthy.
Yeah, I mean, and bone is not necessarily a good conductor of heat.
Yeah.
So the answer is to use it
a bunch of marrow cracking.
The answer is to use it as a vessel for deep frying, which is usually the way to go.
Man, a deep fried skull.
Tasty.
If you were an ogre, can you imagine?
Oh.
Like if I wanted to make friends with the ogre kingdom, like that'd be the way to do it.
No,
introduce them to deep frying.
Mm-hmm.
Deep fry a whole peasant. Oh yeah. Like
sealing the juices.
Yeah, man. Like, it explained to the ogre about letting peasants rest.
Seriously, just 5 minutes. It'll makes a world of difference.
Grog, no wait. No, seriously, Grog.
Grog, it's gonna be a huge mess. You want those juices in you. That juice is flavor, Grog. Okay.
Don't you like the juice, Grog? Do you Grog like the juice? Yeah. Anywho. So Billy presents the God gas to Rusty, like, oh, this will cause visions, maybe make somebody more suggestible, but it's not mind control.
Yeah.
And Rusty's not hearing it.
No. And Pete, he has developed this fun little gun as the dispenser. It's a gun with the VenTech logo on the stock, to deliver this gas, in a burst at 15 feet, right? Billy says, hey, we need to do more testing on this, but then he notices that the mouse habitat is on fire. This is where he screams, I'm so sick of killing mice.
Yeah, which scientists never get sick of.
Right.
Or they wouldn't be scientists.
Mm-hmm.
Rusty says, listen, Billy, you got to move on to human testing. We only have 3 days. And Billy thinks this is obviously wrong. Where are we going to find someone to take this untested mind control drug? And then by providence, Brock messages them.
Yeah.
Orangutan is back.
Yeah.
He's like, I'll deal with that guy. And Rusty says, leave him alone. I need the villain. Both Billy and Pete look at him. He's like, what? This is within the rules. Like, this is Rusty playing, the super science game.
Yeah. Yeah.
He gets to test super science on villains.
Yeah. Why not? Like it's a weapon. So let's use it. Let's see how this goes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So things are colliding here. 21 and the Monarch, they arrive at Columbus Circle. You know, they know that orangutan's hanging around here, and they rush up. They need to hurry because the meters are too expensive. You know, $3.50 an hour is ridiculous. Again,
New York joke. So Brock has orangutan in a hold. You know, he's going to throw him into this hole in the ground. This hole in the ground that a white whale put there last episode.
Yeah.
You know, but Brock says, no, like put him on the ground and step back.
Yeah.
Billy drew the short straw, so he has to actually fire the God gas gun. He apologizes to orangutan and he pulls the trigger because Pete is such a fuck up. The gas tank basically explodes. It hits the ground and Brock, orangutan, and Billy get God gassed.
Yes. They all get big whiffs of it. You know, their eyes turn all pink or whatever. And Rusty leans into this, is trying to do the suggestion thing, like, you are my slave and I am your master. Orangutan looks up at him and sees him as Satan. It's not, you don't have to do too much to Rusty to make him into Satan.
With Billy as a tiny little like demon option, little devil.
Yeah. So he picks Billy up and carries him over to the hole. As a spawn of hell, I cast thee into oblivion. He's about ready to throw Billy in there and kill him.
Yeah. Billy sees Rusty as an adult version of Rusty Boy Adventure, you know, thinks he can save him. And they call Rusty calls for Brock, but Brock just rubs his eyes and runs out of the lobby.
Yeah.
The God gas gave him the nudge he needed.
Yes.
There.
Yeah.
Rusty runs after him, and the Monarch and 21 are coming in confusion.
Yeah.
You know, they step inside to go after orangutan, and Billy thinks that he recognizes them.
Yeah. So they go, it's the Blue Morpho. And says, oh, you know, please save me. So 21, you know, goes into action, swiftly goes up and grabs Billy and throws him to the Monarch. But the problem is, you know, up close, Billy gets a good look at the Blue Morpho's face and says, ooh, I think I recognize you. Right. So the Monarch drops him.
Yeah. We're going to find out later this is he thinks he's Rusty.
Yes.
21 throws orangutan into the pit, or punches him. He falls in the pit.
Yeah, and expresses distress.
Kind of about this of 21 not wanting to kill people.
Yes, he is distressed by this, and so they run away. And Billy calls out like, "Oh, I'll keep your secret, Blue Morpho."
Yeah, Rusty is trying to get into the tower across the way. The doorman throws him on the ground, and the Monarch helps him up. Rusty recognizes him. Rusty knows who he is. He's like, "You can't be you," and he goes, "I'm the Blue Morpho, citizen." You know. Upstairs, Brock marches down the hall. There's a guard outside Wariana's apartment. He grabs and knocks on the door with his head. It's very good. Yeah. Wariana answers, you know, Heracles, what an unpleasant surprise. And he just, you know, says, you know, take me like I want to be with a real woman. You know, I want to worship at your altar. There's nothing, you know, in this world but your power and me, the man who can see it. And she sees opportunity here and grabs him and does this like, I'm going to wear you out. He's like this very like pretty sexy monologue for Oriana to break you upon my wheel. Yep. Like it's very intense. We're going to find out later. This just means butt stuff.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So Rusty walks back into his lobby, confused by this, right? Just like, oh my God, we failed in this mind control. You know, maybe we can just fall back onto the silent washer or whatever. But Pete says like, oh, you know, we can just like what we have is pretty impressive. We can just go back to calling it God gas. Yeah.
You know, making this plot just kind of go full circle.
Yeah.
You know, at this point,
instead of using a gun, they could use an aspergillum. Oh, you mean one of those Pope water sprinkler things? Exactly. Just leaning into the religious angle. Yeah. Yeah.
This made me feel like somebody was on the show was showing off that they knew the word for that thing.
Oh yeah.
That felt a little like trivia-y to me, but that's okay.
Yeah.
Billy looks at Rusty and says, you know, I know your secret, Blue Morpho. Rusty ignores this. This is the threat of this that doesn't go anywhere, really.
Yeah.
You know, Dr. Mrs. the Monarch thinking that Blue Morpho is Rusty does.
Yeah.
They did another post credits where they had to do this at the end because they had some kind of production hitch and they had to like paper over some, you know, some plot stuff.
Yeah.
So we end up with a non-jokey, you know, end credits thing that just pushes the plot forward.
Yeah. Yeah. So the Monarch and 21, they're walking in, they're returning home, just like, oh my gosh, that was so much fun. I can't believe you were calling everybody citizen. You know, it's classic.
But 21's into it.
Yeah. They got their car towed, but they'll figure it out. And they walk inside, and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is sitting out on the stairs. They panic, and then they try and dance with each other. But it's like, no, I know exactly what's going on. I felt so bad that I missed date night. But so I came back early, but you guys were gone. She doesn't suspect that they're the Blue Morpho or anything, even though they're basically wearing half of the costume. She thinks that 21 and the Monarch went out on the date night themselves.
Yeah, despite her.
Yeah.
Which again, like, she acts really angry about that and doesn't recognize the outfit when she sees it later. Like, I don't like how it feels like in Doc Hammer episodes, characters get turned into idiots every once in a while.
Yeah.
For no reason. I don't, and Dr. Mrs. the Monarch is one of the most capable people. I don't like how she's an idiot. Like, I don't really like this post-credits sequence. No. And I also don't feel like it moves anything forward.
No.
The idea is that she, it's showing her to be clueless.
Yeah.
Like, at first it seems like a reveal that she knows the secret, but we're not going to get her knowing the secret for a long time.
Right.
And I would have preferred a joke.
Yeah. The function here is just to give plausible deniability. So the Monarch has room to move as the Blue Morpho, kind of under her nose. Yeah.
Yeah. And show that they liked it.
Yes.
Which, it's a good episode. The end part is not great to me, but it's fun.
Yeah. Yep.
Good fun episode.
I like it. I like Orangutan, even though it doesn't get a lot of screen time. It's just fun that he doesn't really have a plan. He's just there to challenge them to a fight.
Yeah. Orangutan and Battle Axe are real fun.
Yeah.
And that, Orangutan is A+ pun.
Oh yeah.
Work. Yeah. Yeah. And we're going into my favorite stretch of this, where he like tanks for nothing and it happening one night.
Yeah.
These just weird villain episodes that are real fun. They're going to get Brown Widow back pretty soon. Good shit.
Love it.
If you like this show, you should head on over to patreon.com/Duckfeed.tv and support your boys.
Yeah.
We appreciate it. We do a lot of shows, and this is our job. So we rely on listeners like you.
We do. And we appreciate your generosity. Lots of cool stuff you can get there, bonus content and the like. It is all laid out there for you if you are interested. Also, you can leave a rating or review on whatever podcast directory you find us on. Apple Podcasts and Podcast Addict, Spotify, etc. And of course, tell your friends.
Yes. As we mentioned on this show and then other shows, early release is going away. If you do patronize us, you're getting other benefits instead. A pack of premium shows, you're getting Slack access, stuff like that, and all the bonus shows you'd ordinarily get. But early release is going away.
Yep.
So just be prepared for that.
Yeah.
I think that's probably about it.
Think so. Well, I mean, obviously we got the one thing now.
Yeah.
Go Team Venture.